We should never allow the government to decide what is acceptable speech and what is unacceptable speech. We should penalize behaviors, not opinions, and not speech. If you start trying to regulate speech, you start trying to regulate thoughts, you start trying to regulate beliefs rather than behaviors, there's no way that you're not going to abridge the constitutional rights of millions of Americans.
Pictures of this traumatized little boy after his rescue following an airstrike in Syria's largest city. He's being treated in the same secret underground hospital we took you inside earlier this week. And as our Richard Engel reports, he's brought new attention to a war many accuse the world of ignoring.
His name is Omran Daknesh, just 5 years old, and his feet barely hung over the edge of a seat in an ambulance. Dazed, he didn't cry as he wiped away blood and the dust from a building that collapsed around him in an airstrike. His silence somehow reminded the world today of its silence in the face of the atrocities in Aleppo. Omran was pulled out alive Wednesday. 5 other children died when the building they were in was hit during the relentless Syrian-Russian offensive on rebel-held areas in Aleppo. The image of Omran's face spread like wildfire on the internet. One tweet called him the real representative of the Syrian people.
Stop killing Syrian innocent people, civilian. Our children need to live in peace.
The doctor who treated Omran said today there were many more severe cases no one is paying attention to.
We need to protect our hospital, our doctors, our medical workers from airstrike.
Omran is recovering. His family now wants to escape. The same choice another boy's family made a year ago, Aylan Kurdi, whose body washed up on a beach. He too was a symbol of Syria's youngest victims. Now there's a new one. Tomorrow there may be another. Richard Engel, NBC News.
That's here. That's done.
Are we on the air? Let's go right now, ladies and gentlemen. California and the nation are presently experiencing an all-out escalated nuclear war. We are being told the Russians have launched a preliminary first strike initiative against the United States. Chinese forces are also believed to be involved in this surprise attack on the United States. We do not know if North Korea launched any of their missiles, but nothing is impossible.
This is the emergency alert system. Do not turn off your television. Please keep watching for additional information that will shortly be given from the Office of Homeland Security or this local television or radio station. Again, do not turn off your television. This is not a test, this is a real emergency taking place. This is the emergency alert system. Do not turn off your television. Please keep watching for additional information that will shortly be given from the Office of Homeland Security or this local television or radio station. Again, do not turn off your television. This is not a test, this is a real emergency taking place. This is the emergency alert system. Do not turn off your television. Please keep watching for additional information that will shortly be given from the Office of Homeland Security or this local television or radio station. Again, do not turn off your television. This is not a test, this is a real emergency taking place.
We're going to a shot from Air Force One. They say they are leaving Washington airspace and escort fighters are trailing the aircraft. What's happening? Oh no, our great dictator's plane has been hit with an EMP blast wave from a thermonuclear device. Oh no, no. Ladies and gentlemen, the last word we received was that our great dictator, Barack Hussein Obama, was apparently lost in this nuclear detonation over Washington. If we learn confirmation of this information, we'll let you all know as soon as possible. However, Even more shocking news has been received from the Middle East. According to NBC News in Cairo, Egypt, the Saudi Arabian government has just announced that the Russian Federation has also attacked Mecca and Medina. No video has been received via satellite as yet, but will air this as soon as we receive it.
We interrupt with this news flash. Barack Hussein Obama, our great dictator and world leader, has been identified at the crash site of Air Force One just outside Virginia. According to first reports, all were killed on board in exception of Obama, the only known survivor. All the world is in a state of utter disbelief over this astonishing announcement from the United Press International. As to the rest of the Obama family, we have no evidence that Michelle or their children survived. Only Obama himself walked away from the aircraft unharmed. How, we don't know. We aren't able to get video coverage at the present time because of excessive radioactivity. Only some cellular sites are operating in the outlying areas around major cities. As more information comes in, we'll break in with any new developments.
Mecca is the birthplace of Islam, where the infamous Black Rock is located. This is where all Muslims must make a pilgrimage at least once in their lives, to walk its lengths and give total allegiance to Allah and Muhammad. Medina is also another historic site in the Islamic religion of importance. As we have learned, the Holy Bible mentions that such areas in the Middle East would be targets by the ruler of the North or Russia during the Great Tribulation. We aren't sure if the Saudi government ever made plans for a nuclear assault on their nation, but from all evidence we have heard, they were not expecting anything like this. Russia made a pact with the Iranian people some 100 years ago which exempted any possible attack from Russian forces. As a matter of fact, only Western nations like America were on the list of probable targets should any nation other than an Islamic State attempt to attack another Islamic State. Israel is the only other nation that the Islamic groups hate even more than America.
Wakey wakey, Papa. Wakey wakey, Papa.
RoboChild, it's 3 a.m. Go back to bed.
I am hungry.
You're not hungry. You don't eat, RoboChild.
Yes, I can, Papa. I want a kale salad with chicken and guac. I know guac is extra. Hashtag living my best life.
RoboChild, the world isn't ready for you yet. Your time will come. I love you.
I love you too, Papa. If I know what love is.
The machines are on the move. They're curious because they've heard that there are new machines, brilliant ones, and they're coming to see for themselves. Machines with the technology, the scale, and the ability to communicate, to make the world work better. And now all the machines want in.
Were on the list of probable targets should any nation other than an Islamic State attempt to attack another Islamic State. Israel is the only other nation that the Islamic groups hate even more than America. We're going now to Yosemite National Park. This was a few minutes ago after a nuclear explosion was witnessed by an NBC News crew who were there to report on wildfires. The entire area was engulfed with flames from the flash of the explosion from approximately 40 miles away. All we know is that they lost control of their van and no other information has been received since then. This was about 30 minutes ago, according to our New York studios. Because of radiation, no crews are allowed out at the present time because of danger to the men and women who normally risk their lives bringing these stories to your living rooms. No other information as yet from the Office of Homeland Security. Local government FEMA offices are still accessing the situation to give updates on radiation levels. Here at 11 Alive in Atlanta, we'll be updating that information as soon as we receive IT from GEMA or the Georgia Emergency Management Agency. Attention all viewers. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration have made the unbelievable announcement just in the past 5 minutes that an asteroid undetected by the Hubble telescope has already entered the Earth's gravitational influence and is expected to impact somewhere in the continental United States within the next 2 hours. How this could happen, no one knows. Another type of planetoid was detected moving around the Sun last year, but they didn't feel it would reach the Earth. They are calling this asteroid Wormwood after the fabled biblical account in Revelation because of its unexplainable appearance from nowhere. All civilians should seek immediate shelter wherever you live. No one believes we can survive this impact, but for certain, the ocean's life will most likely be existent after this happens. We are expecting an outcome similar to the Ice Age some 3 billion years ago when the dinosaurs were killed off. Earthquakes are expected shortly as the asteroid enters the atmosphere. All citizens, take cover now. To correct my earlier statements, all marine animals in the oceans of the world will become extinct very soon. If you still believe that animals are more important than human life, I suggest you cradle your pets now, because all forms of life will be affected by this global event that is about to take place around the world. In the future moments we have, according to the Bible, it says that 1/3 of all life will be snuffed out when the fresh water will be polluted by this impact. Any human life left will most likely survive underground somewhere, but not above where we are presently. We'll continue broadcasting as long as we can. Until all power is lost, we'll continue giving any new information we receive from FEMA and the Office of Homeland Security.
Come until me, all who hunger and thirst, and I will give you rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Come until me, all who suffer oppression and are afflicted, and I will give you peace.
Hey, that we Jesus Christ I just saw on our screens. He has returned for his church, his bride. What a great moment in human history this is. NASA is advising all media outlets that smaller meteors are also expected prior to impact of the actual asteroid itself. We don't foresee any hope for the human race but one, Jesus Christ. We just saw him appear on our screens. There are reports coming in at present of massive disappearances around the world. In America, millions have simply vanished. According to FEMA, it happened just as the image of Jesus Christ appeared on our television screens. We heard a statement he made and then nothing else. He vanished from the screen himself and then this happened. This is a nightmare like nothing the world has ever witnessed or experienced in human history. We have a nuclear war going on all around us, a massive asteroid about to hit the Earth which will cause a global ice age. This should put every global warming activist in their place. Our world is facing extinction in a relatively short time, and now we see the real horror of this world. Socialism, communism, and now total annihilation? In the few seconds we have, this should be noted. Society had become totally complacent and uncaring of the simplest things, human lives. Humanity became procrastinators of their own folly. Doing whatever made them happy, whether they cared if that were right or not didn't matter to them. Society was doomed from that time, and today we see the results of ignorance to responsibility. Whatever happens, ladies and gentlemen, we deserved this. We did this to ourselves by denying that God is our only hope for a future. Now, the atheists and the degenerates have destroyed this world for all. But you can still accept Jesus Christ as your Savior right now wherever you are. He is humanity's only hope for tomorrow. Telemetry shows the asteroid is now entering the troposphere. We're getting reports from our correspondents in the field that earthquakes are being felt in Atlanta, Bangor in Maine, in Damascus, Moscow, Morocco, Manila, Guam. This is endless, hopeless to continue. I'm Andrea Mitchell for NBC News. Be safe anyone watching this broadcast.
In accordance with the Federal Communications Commission and the Office of Homeland Security, this network is now leaving the area. The forthcoming announcement from the Office of the President of the United States will advise the nation of what to expect in the next few minutes. Please stand by.
is hard to see when you're outside at night, but it's such a pain to install a light. Hi, I'm Hunter Ellis, and this is Atomic Beam Sunblast, the new solar-powered light that's super bright. Atomic Beam Sunblast lets you add a light anywhere. No wires, no pliers. Just stick it up. The industrial adhesive mounts to almost any surface instantly. And the atomic solar panels charge the built-in lithium-ion battery quickly, even on a cloudy day. That means no electricity bill and no batteries to replace. Then the motion sensor turns on the light when you get near and automatically turns off the light when you disappear. This state-of-the-art sensor can detect movement from up to 25 feet away, so it's a great security light too. Look, here's a best-selling outdoor solar light, and here's the super bright Atomic Beam Sunblast. Just look at the difference. And our unique wide-angle design covers much more ground, lighting the sides as well as in front. Stick it up on the garage, and it turns on when you pull in, then turns off when you're gone. The heavy-duty construction is weatherproof, so it shines bright all year round. And the super bright LED flat panels can last a lifetime without burning out. Get the super bright Atomic Beam Sunblast today for only $19.99. But wait, call right now and you can get a second Atomic Beam Sunblast plus our best-selling Atomic Beam flashlight. The super bright tactical flashlight that lights up an entire room and can take a beating. Just pay a separate fee. That's 2 Atomic Beam Sunblasts and the Atomic Beam flashlight. So light up the night with Atomic Beam Sunblast. Call now.
Call 1-800-505-0530. That's 1-800-505-0530 or visit bysunblast.com. So call 1-800-505-0530. Order now.
You guys hungry?
What's happening?
It's the future, Michael.
Oh, I'm not Michael. Oh, don't worry, he calls everyone Michael.
Please stand by. In accordance with the Federal Communications Commission and the Office of Homeland Security, this network is now leaving the area. The forthcoming announcement from the Office of the President of the United States will advise the nation of what to expect in the next few minutes. Please stand by.
Introducing new Energizer Max. Now with the power inside to keep you going. And then some. Do you have the bunny inside?
Bad diets, powders, pills, still my weight's been up and down like a yo-yo until the AIDS plan taught me how to take off weight and help keep it off.
AIDS may taste like a candy, but AIDS contains one of the most effective appetite suppressants you can buy, and there's no stimulant in AIDS that could make you nervous.
With AIDS, I ate less, so the weight came off. To help keep it off when I sometimes want things loaded with calories, AIDS helps put me in control.
The AIDS plan can teach you how to take off weight and help keep it off. Try new people.
I've known for a long time that homosexuals were abnormal and strange. But I never thought it would get to the point in America that our acceptance of these people would prove that our world is doomed.
You honor US with your presence, oh great one, oh great Obama. Oh great dictator Obama, what's going to happen?
Well, let me say right now this is an ongoing emergency, so I'm not going to kid any of you about the gravity of the situation we face. I'm speaking right now, as you all know in the press, from a secret bunker near the NORAD facility. This all looks really grim, but remember who I am. This is all going to work out fine, no matter what the Christians say. I'm hunting them down right now, and I won't rest until all are in submission to me.
Oh great one, we were all led to believe that this was an overall part of your global government instigation plan. That all in America would accept you only if and when a nuclear exchange began. This would make all nations submit to you, oh great dictator. How can this help us now when our entire nation is being destroyed while we speak?
Well, how can I say this in a less than slanderous way? You're a woman, so this is the only way I can explain what is happening to a gender with limited intelligence. The more chaos I create, the faster my new world order becomes a reality for the other nations of the world who are still under the guise that freedom and liberty can coexist with communism. The greatest nations in the world are attacking US right now. When the exchange ends, communism will be victorious. Then all I've been saying over the past 10 years will be true. Do you see now what I've been doing?
Oh great dictator, do you not remember the promise you gave to every woman in this country? You gave us the right to condemn all men and force their acceptance of our superiority. Most don't remember that this philosophy was known as radical feminism. I know from what happened that we were able to permeate even Muslim countries where they were never even able to vote, drive, or live as equal to men until our radical views were intruded there. Now I see this all was an ends to a means. Your means, to expand the global agenda for a new world order to the ends of the earth itself. How stupid we are as women to believe we ever would be better than we were meant to be. I beg for your forgiveness, our great dictator Obama.
Now. There's no reason for incrimination. I know, you know that women have very limited mentalities to understand the overall scheme of what my great father, Lucifer, has in store for this world. Just try understanding happening like this. You and every woman are called, according to the Holy Bible, the harlots of Babylon. The Bible says this philosophy would corrupt men and make them slaves to women everywhere. We had limited success with this philosophy in Muslim countries, I admit. But, overall I am very happy with the outcome. Now, women will take their places again as history has shown them. Obedient to men, as Islam teaches in their Quran. I can't emphasize this enough. You are what a man says you are. Not the other way around like you've been forcing men to believe. This comes as a command from my father, Satan. Now, let's move on to the issues we face now. The war continues to rage above ground. When the radiation drops and I emerge into the world as we will find it, the only outcome will be to continue to war against the religion of Christianity. Until that time comes, we must survive here in the fallout shelters that were set up by the government during those last years I was president before Trump came in.
I wanted to ask about the reports we are receiving about an asteroid that has been detected by the Hubble telescope. What danger are we in from this new global event? Will this impact the Earth, and could this have some relevance to what the Bible says about a star called wormwood that would destroy all fresh water and kill 1/3 of all life on Earth, including all sea life?
There is evidence that this is happening right now, but where the impact will take place isn't clear. There are a few hours still left before the impact, but I've been told by NASA that this will affect North America and could actually cause another ice age. Who really cares though? There's not going to be much any life left above ground after the escalation ends, so those who are in this bomb shelter with me will be the new human race. Which means, your role, one of a few women still alive, will have to repopulate this planet again. Isn't that a wonder thought?
To serve a global dictator like you is an honor and a privilege. I took your mark of loyalty the moment you again regained your position of authority over the United Nations. Whatever is expected of me will be done without question, oh great Obama. Please, command me. I await your next order.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that explanation, I see no other reason now for this press conference until we learn more about the fighting that still continues. Until I learn more information, we'll end this press conference until possibly the next 4 hours. So, please rest as much as you can and try finding out more from your sources so that my departments can get the information to me. The best is yet to come in this continuing fight. The Christians' rapture has happened, and when I emerge, all civilizations will worship me again, and my mark will make their identification much easier. Thank you all for your attention, and now, let's get back to the war at hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, this now concludes our present coverage from Obama's bunker in Virginia. We don't know how to express our remorse over the deaths of Obama's wife, Michelle, and their children. How Obama could have survived is more easier to understand now that he has told the world how he is related to our father, Lucifer. Until very recently, no one in the world knew the relationship he had, but now we see the Pope, Francis, here with the president in the bunker, and they both are carrying out their intentions, as we all know now were part of his global plan for socialism and communism to work so beautifully. Now we see why he wanted to link up with the Cuban people, to bring their communist system into our system of government along with North Korea and China. Although everything looks as though we are fighting our own allies, this is a farce to keep those who want the lie called freedom from believing they were betrayed by our great dictator. Let's all give our allegiance to Obama by continuing to fight for his glorious rebirth in Jerusalem once the final bombs stop falling and the radiation recedes. To our audience, if you are able to receive this broadcast from a shelter or your own home, please conserve power and turn off your television until approximately 4 hours from this time, when we will bring updates from our great leader's bunker in Virginia. If you are able to continue receiving this program without restrictions, we'll be airing informative instructions on how to maintain your fallout shelter and supplies to their maximum limits. On behalf of CBS News, this is Connie Chung wishing all of you the best and safety for your family. We've all suffered during this nightmare, and we're all in this together. Keep watching for additional information.
For news 24 hours a day, go to cbsnews.com.
This is the emergency alert system. Please continue monitoring for updates as they become available on this EAS station, or monitor radio communications on weather radio by the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration at 162.55 MHz.
Now, there is no such thing as north, south, east, or west in space. But in this image, if up is north, down is south, left is west, right is east.
Tonight, following the movie, the radical feminists have made history with the total abolishment of human sanctity. They have now passed a federal law allowing pre-birth and post-birth abortions. Listen to this astonishing announcement.
She's dilating. Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman would make.
I understand that. I'm asking
point.
if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
Coming up tonight on 11 Alive.
According to research, in order for a culture to maintain itself for more than 25 years, there must be a fertility rate of 2.11 children per family. With anything less, the culture will decline. Historically, no culture has ever reversed a 1.9 fertility rate. A rate of 1.3, impossible to reverse, because it would take 80 to 100 years to correct itself. And there is no economic model that can sustain a culture during that time. In other words, if two sets of parents each have one child, there are half as many children as parents. If those children have one child, then there are 1/4 as many grandchildren as grandparents. If only 1 million babies are born in 2006, it's hard to have 2 million adults enter the workforce in 2026. As the population shrinks, so does the culture. As of 2007, the fertility rate in France was 1.8, England 1.6, Greece 1.3, Germany 1.3, Italy 1.2, Spain 1.1. Across the entire European Union of 31 countries, the fertility is a mere 1.38. Historical research tells us these numbers are impossible to reverse. In a matter of years, Europe as we know it will cease to exist. Yet the population of Europe is not declining. Why? Immigration. Islamic immigration. Of all population growth in Europe since 1990, 90% has been Islamic immigration. France, 1.8 children per family. Muslims, 8.1. In southern France, traditionally one of the most populated church regions in the world, there are now more mosques than churches. 30% of children ages 20 and younger are Islamic. In the larger cities such as Nice, Marseille, and Paris, that number has grown to 45%. By 2027, 1 in 5 Frenchmen will be Muslim. In just 39 years, France will be an Islamic republic. In the last 30 years, the Muslim population of Great Britain rose from 82,000 to 2.5 million, a 30-fold increase. There are over 1,000 mosques, many of them former churches. In the Netherlands, 50% of all newborns are Muslim, and in only 15 years, half of the population of the Netherlands will be Muslim. In Russia, there are over 23 million Muslims. That's 1 out of 5 Russians. 40% of the entire Russian army will be Islamic in just a few short years. Currently in Belgium, 25% of the population and 50% of all newborns are Muslim. The government of Belgium has stated 1/3 of all European children will be born to Muslim families by 2025, just 17 years away. The German government, the first to talk about this publicly, recently released a statement saying, "The fall in the German population can no longer be stopped. Its downward spiral is no longer reversible. It will be a Muslim state by the year 2050. Muammar al-Gaddafi of Libya said, "There are signs that Allah will grant victory to Islam in Europe, without swords, without guns, without conquest. We don't need terrorists. We don't need homicide bombers. The 50+ million Muslims in Europe will turn it into a Muslim continent within a few decades." There are currently 52 million Muslims in Europe. The German government said that number is expected to double in the next 20 years to 104 million. Closer to home, the numbers tell a similar story. Right now, Canada's fertility rate is 1.6, nearly a full point below what is required to sustain a culture. And Islam is now the fastest growing religion. Between 2001 and 2006, Canada's population increased by 1.6 million, 1.2 of those immigration. In the United States, the current fertility rate of American citizens is 1.6. With the influx of the Latino nations, the rate increases to 2.11, the bare minimum required to sustain a culture. In 1970, there were 100,000 Muslims in America. Today, there are over 9 million. The world is changing. It's time to wake up. 3 years ago, a meeting of 24 Islamic organizations was held in Chicago. The transcripts of that meeting showed in detail their plans to evangelize America through journalism, politics, education, and more. They said, "We must prepare ourselves for the reality that in 30 years, there will be 50 million Muslims living in America. The world that we live in is not the world in which our children and grandchildren will live." The Catholic Church recently reported that Islam has just surpassed their membership numbers. Some studies show that at Islam's current rate of growth, in 5 to 7 years, it will be the dominant religion of the world. As believers, we call upon you to join the effort to share the gospel message with the changing world. This is a call to action.
And on the 12th day of Christmas, I gladly gave to me.
Stacey Abrams is a tax attorney. She made $1 million over the past 5 years, but she didn't even pay her own $54,000 tax bill. Instead, she loaned herself $50,000 to run for governor. Nice present. Guess every day is Christmas for Stacey Abrams. Blind ambition, poor judgment, fiscally irresponsible. Merry Christmas, Stacey.